There is a strange moment that many people only recognize after many years. You open your phone, and there is nothing. No notifications, no messages, no one looking for you. Facebook no longer shows those familiar red dots. Messenger has no new messages either. You scroll across the screen, then turn the phone off. Not because you are busy, but because there is no one to reply to. The weekend comes. No one invites you out for coffee. No one asks if you want to go anywhere. You also have no plans to meet up with friends. And the strange thing is, you don't feel sad. You feel relieved. If this is happening to you, you may have asked yourself a very difficult question. When did I become someone who no longer talks to anyone anymore? You didn't decide to cut everyone off after waking up one morning. It happened much more slowly. A message you sent that received no reply, a meeting that was postponed and then completely forgotten, a moment when you truly needed someone to talk to and your phone remained silent. At first, you think it is just a coincidence. Everyone is busy. Everyone has their own life. But when it happens enough times, you begin to realize a hard truth. Maybe you have been lonely for a very long time. Before, you were still trying to keep relationships alive by texting first, checking in first, and always being the one who showed up. Until one day, you stop and you truly realize that not everyone is kind enough to you or willing to be there for you. Only this channel has been kind enough to come to you, listen to you, and share what you were thinking. Please subscribe to the channel and leave a few words of your thoughts. I will get in touch with you right away. In the past, you used to be someone who gave a lot. You were the person who almost always replied to messages immediately, the person who always picked up the phone when friends called. You were the one who often asked, "How have you been lately?" You remembered everyone's birthdays, you sent your wishes, you checked in when you saw someone post a sad status on Facebook. If a friend was going through something, you were willing to spend the entire evening just sitting and listening to them talk. If someone called at midnight saying they were feeling terrible, you were the one who was there. You once thought that was how good relationships were maintained. People care about each other. People show up when they are needed. But over time, you began to notice something very strange. The care in those relationships never went both ways. You were always the one asking how others were doing, but rarely did anyone ask back, "What about you?" You were always the one who texted first, but if one day you decided not to text anymore, the conversation would disappear as well. The moment of awakening usually arrives very quietly. One night, you were truly exhausted. You send a message to someone you had always been there for. The message shows the words "seen," but there is no reply. It's not that they hate you, they're just not there. To them, you were no longer important, and for the first time in your life, you realize something that shocks you. You always show up when others need you, but when you need someone, no one shows up. Many people think relationships end because of a big event. For example, a fierce argument, a clear betrayal. But in reality, most relationships do not end that way. They end because of hundreds of small disappointments accumulating over time. A very simple example. You are always the one who texts first. You are always the one who suggests meeting up first. You are always the one keeping the conversation from falling into silence. One day you decide to try a small experiment. You stop texting first. You just wait to see what will happen. One day passes, no message. A week passes, still nothing. A month passes, your phone remains silent. And you realize a very hard truth. That relationship existed only because you kept it alive. Or another example. You are always there when others are going through a crisis. You listen to their stories for hours. You put aside your own work just to comfort them. But when you go through something, they respond with a short sentence, "Everything will be okay." Then they change the subject. Not because they are bad people, They just are not willing to give you what you gave to them. Moments like that repeat again and again. Not one big blow, but 1,000 small cuts, until one day you realize you have been trying to hold on to relationships that only you were trying to maintain, and eventually you decide to stop trying. After an experience repeats enough times, your brain begins to do what it always does: look for patterns. At first, you think everything is just random. One friend doesn't reply to a message, another cancels a meeting at the last minute, someone else says they will call back and never does. Small things like that happen to everyone, but when it happens too many times, the brain starts to remember. You begin to recognize familiar signs. There are people who only text when they need help. There are people who always appear when life is fun, but disappear when things become difficult. There are people who say they care about you, but when you are truly vulnerable, they do not know what to do, or they simply are not there. Over time, those experiences become data. Every time you open up, every time you trust, every time you give all of your care, the ending often looks the same. You are the one left holding the broken pieces. So your nervous system begins to respond in the most natural way. It tries to reduce the risk of being hurt. You start to withdraw. You share less. You text less. You let fewer people come too close to your life. Not because you hate people, but because your brain has learned a very clear lesson. Not every relationship is safe for your heart. And sometimes the only way to protect yourself is to become more selective about who you allow into your life. What surprises many people is that the loneliest moment in your life is not when you are alone. It is when you are surrounded by many people. You are sitting in a cafe with friends. Everyone is talking, laughing, sharing their stories. You are there too, but deep inside, you feel like you do not truly belong in that conversation. No one asks what you are thinking. No one truly cares how you are feeling. You might be smiling, nodding, even telling a few stories to fit the atmosphere, but inside you feel invisible. Or perhaps you have been in a relationship. On the surface, everything seems fine. The two of you still talk, still go out to eat together, still appear together in photos on social media. But every time you try to share your true feelings, the response is usually, "You're overthinking," or "Don't be so sensitive." Gradually, you begin to understand something important. Loneliness is not about having no one around. Loneliness is when no one truly understands you. So when you are alone later on, the feeling is not as frightening as you once thought. At least when you are alone, you do not have to pretend. You do not have to perform a pleasant version of yourself just to keep things running smoothly. The silence begins to become a safe place, a place where for the first time in a very long time, you can truly breathe. When people look at you now, they often say the same thing: "You've changed." Some say you've become colder. Some say you no longer care about anyone anymore. But they don't know the whole story. You don't hate them. You just no longer have the energy to keep trying on your own. You didn't give up on friendship. You didn't give up on connecting with people. What you gave up on are the relationships that only existed because you were the one trying harder. The relationships where you were always the one texting first, where you were always the one checking in, where you had to try twice as hard just to feel remembered. For many years, you tried everything. You gave more chances, you forgave. You told yourself that people were just busy. But at some point, you realized something very simple. Your peace matters more than pleasing everyone. So you began to set boundaries. Some people call that a wall, but there is actually a very big difference. A wall keeps everyone out. A boundary only keeps out the people who do not respect you. Maybe one day you will open your heart again when you meet the right people. People who do not only show up when it is convenient, but who are also there when things become difficult. But until that time comes, the quiet you have now is not loneliness. It is the peace you had to learn for a very long time to obtain. And sometimes, protecting that peace is the bravest decision a person can make. And finally, I am here with you, always ready to listen to whatever you want to share. Please subscribe to the channel and leave your comment. I will reply as soon as I receive your message.